Hello, good morning and welcome to Mentorship on Konkola Radio 96.5 FM. This is a program designed to discuss community issues affecting you and me. And on this platform, we give you an opportunity to participate by calling or sending in messages and voice notes to your number, which is 0750-999965. My name is Warren Shiakwamba, and today I host a man whose political career started in 2006 at 21 years when he was elected as councillor at the backdrop of serving as a student union president at the Copperbelt University CDU, and of course he became the first student university in Zambia to hold public office after his election as a councillor and served for 10 years. Guess what? Later he became Kitwe's first executive mayor and was elected local government authority president. In 2021, magic, he was elected as member of parliament for Kamvinsa on the Patriot Front ticket, PS. And he is engineer Christopher Kang'ombe. Honorable, welcome to Konkola Radio, where everyone is welcome.
Shams, I'm very grateful for inviting me, for hosting me today. Injua nsansa sana lelo bakunsuminisho kwisa lanshani yakona bekala mushimuna muchililabombwe nokumfako kwa abantu bekele kuno, especially ngefwe mwayishibana mpemwa sana ili ashili amigodi efwe migodi shile yakwilisha echalo chesu nenshila tuingaba abakutwalila mu echalo chesu pantani mwebena chingola nani sengela injua nsansa ukubana imwelelo.
Right, thank you so much, Honorable Answer, and I'm also happy to have you in studio and to have you in Chililabombwe as well as the Jacob, because right now as we speak, even part of Northwestern, as you go as far as Mushindamo,
okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Sure.
Not till.
And our conversation will actually be centered on national matters from youth, governance, mining, and other vital issues in the interest of Zambian people. Yes, as we begin, first condolences to you and your party, the Patriot Front. The death of sixth Republican President Edgar Chagalungu, who died on 5th of June 2025, and is yet to be put to rest due to conversations and court proceedings between the government and the Republic of Zambia and his family. You worked closely with President Lungu, and if he woke up today and see what is happening around his death, what would he say, and what is your take on this matter that has dragged for 2 months?
Well, Chakwarira Pova Shams, like I indicated earlier on, my coming today was to come and interact with the residents of Chililabombwe. Ngefyo mwishi wefuno Chililabombwe waliva imigodisha sana. And obviously mining is very key. Now, before we go into issues that surrounding some of the things we've been proposing in Parliament, I think that the issue you've raised is very important. I just hope that it won't take away the time that we have to interact with it. So within a minute, I think for me, first of all, just like many other young people, you do recall that initially after I served as councillor for 2 terms, councillor from 2006 to 2011 to Michael Sata mu 2014. So yeshita balungu bale mukupiana ba Michael Sata. Yeshita na yenaleka vilati in the member of parliament. So I initially wanted to be a member of parliament in 2011, after 2016. So idashitana aleruisha nishnama t-shirts na tupanga. Shams had printed over 5,000 t-shirts. I had started doing the politician ngabale pekanya ukwimini na my election, the mobilization. Then we had that alliance in Amulevu Kishaba Bamobakuma MMD, then Kwaboku Kubombela Pamona Patriotic Front. So my plans to stand as member of parliament in 2016 were affected because we had that alliance. So we had to accommodate other people that were joining from MMD. Valungu Vaisanjevo Kutila. Kang'ombe ni mshibole for chifulo chabu member of parliament. But if the constitution has changed, now the constitution demands that the mayor is elected by the residents in a district, okay? And because you have been a councillor for 10 years, we want you to work as mayor of Kitwe, which is member of parliament in 2021. When I because Nalibombele, if I not feeling like to be a member of parliament. But I don't regret because President Lungu guided me to say start as a mayor, and I don't regret because I had the opportunity to understand community development, social cash transfer. I understood how to deal with issues of agriculture. That is the exposure I got at the position of mayor of Kitwe because I dealt with literally everything. Now fast forward, 2021 after Kateka walipo wa Edgar Chabalungu walando kuchila. Mumendo wabomba 10 years bu councillor walimina kwa niku ili pali bu councillor walipo bu MP walipo wa talalolela walilolela. In 2021 tukuletwa kuimika particular chabu member of parliament. So to start with, I appreciate the role that President Lungu played, not just in my political career, but I think in the career of Nathan Chanda Ilwansho Walimusepela, Rashida Mulenga Kukalulushi, Prince Chileshe Kukawe. All these are young mayors that were given an opportunity to be in leadership. So as we discuss the issue of Infayaba Lungu, Nature Lenga Tukoko Lyokushika, for me I think that we need to find a way to resolve this problem urgently. That's why I wanted that. Exactly. Because ni shalondolole kutila na inewe china chinkuma at a personal level. But I think even Zambians would want this chapter to be managed. But I'll tell you something, Shams. Teti bonse fwewa shala chitukalipyo kuchilolupwa. Okay. Any funeral, whether you are a politician or an ordinary citizen, but the family that has lost, but so as we discuss this issue, let us be mindful that we are Africans. To live in Africa, in our African culture, I think it will be important that we recognize that there's a family. I thought I need to start from that perspective.
Exactly.
But I don't want this to be our topic for today.
No.
But we are going to
guide them. We are going to guide them. Well, thank you so much for giving us that genesis of your relationship with the former 6th Republican president. Now, we still understand, you and I, that the impasse still continues. So now, what's your message, your general message to both government and the ECO's family on how we can actually resolve this matter amicably?
Well, when the 6th Republican president died, there were meetings that took place. Government and the family. You remember, delegations were sent to South Africa. I don't think that the family refused to bury in Zambia. I think that should be put on record. And I'm sure you, our colleagues from the media, you are aware that the issue is not whether we should bury in South Africa or Zambia. I think the issue from the family was we would want to manage the burial program in Zambia. We would want to be consulted on who should speak, who should conduct mass. Those were the wishes of the family, and an agreement was arrived at. And they agreed,
which almost failed now.
We were all expectant that former president wanted to send them all over. Unfortunately, a program was published. There was a program that was published by government that did not factor in some concerns from the family. So I'm not party to those discussions, but you've asked me about the way forward.
The way forward.
The way forward for me would be, first of all, there was no need for us to go through this court process. I think my proposal would be, if it's possible, to still resolve this problem even before the final court judgment, because there's been a court judgment. Now the family has appealed to say, if we high court back Pretoria, na bachita ignore some of the inshila balungu bayishilemo kuno ku South Africa inshila bafuililemo the fact that tabafuile ngomuntu o lelo buteko kwingesala ndati nifetwa senda kwa makapa pakumushika. I think that there's a way in which we can still resolve this matter pamonga bena Africa kuchi lokulolela ba court bapinguli omulandu iyaphiwo batwele ku court. I think there must be a way to resolve this problem.
Engineer Kang'ombe, as we conclude on that issue,
yes.
I wanted us just to talk about what might happen if this matter is not well handled with the wisdom that it deserves. And what is it wise not to have the sitting rather? Why is it not wise not to have the sitting president to preside or maybe to be around Isio's funeral?
Well, I would not be in a position to state why the current president should not be present at the funeral program for the late president. I think I'm not a family spokesperson. But you've asked me a very important question. And that is why I started with a background that as citizens, because sometimes we are ignoring the fact that whether you like it or not, the neighbors have lost their loved one.
Yes.
So I think that for me, it is possible that this issue of whether the current president should attend or not, it's an issue that can be resolved. But inenga mwatimunji pushe, inenga mwarufio muntu murupa bashabuzi. Elo barupa balanda tawa Kang'ombe, tamwa pangile, tamwa wikishenye no muyashi. Pali mpika imwe ya lengele limbi kwiwoku kwa tokula lanshanya. You did not make peace with the deceased. We would want that you respect our wishes that mwisangwako teti mpumikishe washa mzine teti mpumikishe palwandi. That is my opinion.
All right.
Yes.
To our dear listener out there, we shall also give you a chance later on as we move on. Pa program yes mushkugwelelo pakutine mwakwata okupela ama concerns ya nangulati ama questions maybe if at all na chimikomya da iya shiol to ala kwa tokulanshani na kwa tefin twifing sana to effort to feel to alanshani hapo na ba guest bandabon kwete mnoma studio. Honorable, now we understand or we are all aware that Parliament went on races.
Yes.
But before that, what are some of the major contributions or success you have scored as MP for the betterment of Kamfinsa constituents and the nation at large?
Well, to start with, you are aware, Shams, that there are three functions of a member of parliament. If you're a member of parliament, afuile senda molu bali mumulimo wa passing a national budget. Kwa which paper legislator national budget. Omutulanda pamia kanishe yandalama. How much money is going to healthcare? How much money is going to roads? How much money is going to ensuring that education is supported? So I think for the last 4 years, there are about 3-4 things that I've really emphasized. Number one, the issue of kuchindamika chide chilonganyo chile itwa nima. Bantu inenga member of parliament kula kukamfinsa na ikala. Na alikwata abekala munche ndesha pala mulenga compound. Na alikwata abantu abekala munche ndesha pala chankala mo compound, zamtari compound. Awabate bakwani shoku ya kufupatale fya chindama. Echo balole lafe kutubina ba member of parliament ba Kang'ombe na tukwato mulwele panganda tuleka bilenda lama. Nombana apishamo kutila. Kuchila lyonse chile bafe kutila kuluse lwantungulushi. Abantu bafule bakwate chile ya kupitila mubuteko iya kwa fuilishamo ukula ya kufupatala ngefine kunoni nchifatu alikwata ifupatala efile kuru efitafila atifipuililike munchile ya kutila bonse bale kwanisha. So one of the things I've been emphasizing mwifunde ya nima National Health Insurance kutila mu 2019 erefunde lya pangirwe mwaliko ichile itwa section 18 nangula ifunde number 18 mu ifunde lya nima ili ala ndo kutila mweba le bomba bakagombe nga mule bomba mufule mule sonkela kono mulanda ifwe funde lya landa bantu health insurance chile pilibulo kutila balabonsa bale fola masala leba kwete eko baleba putwila kufule kwa kanono akaleya ku National Health Insurance pakutila abalanda bali abamwamulenga nga balwala kubula fechi kati wa ku hospital nokutila bakangombe ku parliament bali tulandila ko palifu balanda. So the first thing I brought to parliament was, can we implement pantu ifundeli lesominisha? Can we now quickly register balabonsa balanda abapanima ngono kana okwate emyaka 55 years kuya pamulu amakana ocheperwa limbi you are 30 years uli mulwele, you are not able to fend for yourself. There's a provision in the law which says uyu muntu talingile nanguli netakwetyo lupia kuikala kunganda fula kutukila kuchipatala. Mukutasha ama members of parliament aba lanshenye pali leliashi pakubalira pobalika no kutila pantu chifumine kuli chichilonga ino tatu atusuminishe. But Minister MP Bakulukulu, Dr. Christopher Kang'ombe, who's from actually UPND, said, no, actually, if you are Lumendo Honorable Kang'ombe, fishing because it is our parliament that said the poor and the vulnerable should be catered for using a malipilo yaba bomba. So first thing, I want to be very quick. The first thing that I did was to push government to demand okutila abalanda bakwate shuko lyakula poka umuti nokulabo ndapa kunchende ili yonse ile itwa NIMA accredited health facility. Icho chintu cha number 1. Ichintu cha bubili chile kuma ama residents not only in Kanfinsa but I think Copper Belt. You are aware of Shams that we've had a challenge of access to clean water for most places. Kuno Chililabombwe kukitwe I think inchende shonse shakale sha mine. Ama water treatment plants to akwata Copper Belt yonse. They were designed for a specific number of houses. Amaya ndaya lingilo kula kwata menshi yali shibiko yali fya nono. But look at here in Chililabombwe na tukwate nchende kwingi koba kanso bapela maplot. Go to Kitwe ko ndefuma na tukwata Ndeke village na tukwata Mindolo extension abantu nabakula mayanda. But meanwhile fidefuma machine ifpanga menshi pakutila yalondoloka. Those machines are still old. So I went to parliament and I asked the minister barolekesha pamenshi mwentu ngulu shibushe ninshila nchi twala vikila molupia mutu ampa nitrolekesha pamenshi pakutila ila mayanda yonsa yalelundwa po babya bakwata amensha yalondoloka. So I've been speaking about the water sector na tino kuti mulandu wakutila tamuleba pela amenshi ninshite tukanshile nenkongole shakale. I'm on record as Christopher Kang'ombe na tinika pale na amba nokulanda okutila ba speaker mayo ba speaker nsuminisheni ndondolo leko bwafya bwama bills, because why should people continue receiving water bills when they don't receive water? It is an issue that I raised in parliament. Ba minister Ilianshita honorable Mposha banja swikyo kutila bakangombe ngatu akanse nkongole shamenshi abantu nabapoka menshi na bena balaka no kulipila. So I said mwentu ngulushi epo aba bomfi bafule bapatulula uli opoka menshi no ule poka. But the bottom line is I have advocated for the issues to do with water, but more recently the issue to do with ukupanga mafunde. There's a law that I have proposed. Shams have gone to parliament and I have proposed a very important piece of legislation. My proposal is that here in Chililabombwe, in Luansha, in Kitwe, wherever we've got these mining companies working, we have a huge challenge of our suppliers and contractors not being paid on time. Okay? And my argument,
I think we are going to get to that.
We
are going to get to that. Let's talk about Constituency Development Fund, CDF.
Okay.
How it has benefited your constituents. And many at times we hear of the negatives that what are the positives that have happened so far when since the Constituency Development Fund money was increased from 1.6 million kwacha now to 36.1 million kwacha, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 36.1.
Yeah.
Well, again, you learn this about me. I like giving context to conversation so that wale kutika veshibe ekotule fumane potufikile, and I'll be very quick.
Okay.
Constituency Development Fund rulupia uluile mpanga yonse CDF kuli konsa abantu balanda pamulando wa CDF. We need to explain that kubula abayashi bakateka ba Frederick Chiluba mu mwaka wa 1996 kutende ko lutampulo lwa CDF na lelo ngatatirelanda papa CDF, because at that time Shams we had members of parliament aba kuchililabombwe abakulu apula abale idishanye lyonsenga bafuma ku parliament bawekera kunchendeko balesangwa kwali ukuyidishanyo kutila bakateka ba Chiluba ukutusangire umutenge na ofimbuka pe school tusangire iglasi umwikala ba headmaster na lisuka but abantu balelombo kutila mbafuilishe kulolekesha pali ya mafia anono. It was one of those common problems back in 1996 nishibachiro baleteka kuma members of parliament abachiro balando kutila epo bonsenga mwafuma ku lusaka mulewekela ku constituency bonse mulefu olupia lwa kutila tushitlepo amalata yabiri ayafumine tushitlepo tu cement tubiri palika bridge yako na ike. Why can't we come up with a fund nishite tupangile kwa olupio lwa kutila member of parliament yalewekelamo shams nasenda fyo olupia mutumba efo chambi CDF kale kwale but member of parliament alef makulusaka olupia lulife mutumba ayipusha mafia nshiyali kuno ututu no today. It was small things that government should not take long to resolve. A blown off roof for a classroom block, a bridge that has been washed away. So initially it was started as a pilot fund. Fast forward, 2001, President Manawasa comes in, he increases CDF. 2006 Manawasa before Tabalatusha Varunda Kona foot Enshita na valilwe pachifulo chabo council. At a lowest level palapene na lipalibu council pachifulo chinono vashams. We were able to utilize CDF. It had impact but at a smaller scale. So if you've asked me a very important question.
Yes, exactly.
CDF for me, if it is something that is well managed at a higher amount, it is something that can have impact for what I may call as smaller projects. We can't wait for government to resolve. For instance, Nana primary school monomkatika Chililabombwe. Quickly CDF, you can approve the funding and build an extra 3 classroom block. So those are things that I've seen happening even when we were saving Pachifulo Chabu Councillor back in 2006, 2011. Because amount yakulilako, we are able to do more classroom blocks. But the responsibility now to do the big things, a district hospital, first level hospital, file itwa Challenge hospital, file CDF tetikule because nishimwala bula lonso lupia muchitefe project inga imomwaka onze. So you've asked me what things have we been able to do in my constituency. Number 1, Kamfinsa is a farm block and partly an area where council houses are found. So kuikala wa shibulimi, Katoka Mema farm block, Mwekera farm block, Kamfinsa farm block. Kamfinsa yitwa Kamfinsa constituency because tuwalikuwa tumumano ule yitwa Kamfinsa stream. So we've got a lot of streams. So it's been difficult for our farmers to be able to take farm inputs. Ile chita ya kulimanga ya Africa, ne chita ya kusombola to be able to take your maize back to FRA. So one of the things we've been able to do is to identify how many bridges can we do ayenga ushamotoka. Okay, and we've been able to do Katoka Mema Bridge, ile kumawa shibulimi. We've been able to do Kamatemate Bridge, which is able to accommodate our farmers. So from a perspective of the local needs, CDF has been able to do, but we have a problem there.
Let's talk about some of the major challenges now faced in the process of CDF and how it can be resolved.
Well, number 1, the first challenge we've had with CDF is that ababomfi babutekwa baleitwa ba engineer, ba quantity surveyor, banabalolekesha pali CDF because CDF nangunde ilondolo la finonchikele pano. It is not the member of parliament who manages CDF.
Yes.
My role as MP in parliament ilele kupituluka mu constituency no kwipisha abantu. Uyu mwaka twalipanga ama bridge, what else can we do? My role is to work with people to ensure that the needs of our people are submitted for approval. So the first challenge we've had is that ukupekanya kwama bill of quantity, because if undeliala ndokutila before tamula chita advertise project, you need to know how much money you need. So you need what is called a bill of quantity. Before you do a bill of quantity, Shams, you need what is called a design of a project. So the problem we've had with especially for our city is that Kitwe has got 5 constituencies. Elo Kitwe City Council yako atafe ba engineer abanono basangwa mu council. So bakangombe nga baleka bila ubulalo okupanga bafuye balolera ula quantity surveyor nangola civil engineer apusha kuchimwe constituency ero chimwe na ikwata limi ba councilor 7 numba pakutila akesesa akapite town yonsaka yekwa mulenga to design a bridge and prepare a bill of quantity in Shtailea. So challenge number 1 has been ababomfi babutekwa abasambirire fya makule fya ma design fya ma bill of we do not have enough personnel. Engineer nga bapwishe school kufuma ku university baomba ko fyo mwaka omo baya ku kuma private company pantu ama councils tayafolisha indala mesha londoloka. So we don't have enough personnel to be able to prepare a bill of quantities. Problem number 2. Ubuteko lija wabili kishokutila CDF ichipendwe chili 36 million. The problem we've had is that indala matashisa panshite yalinga. CDF yam 2022 yashile mu 2023. CDF yam 2023 yalefika December 2024. CDF ya 2024 ukwamba mu April elo baambile nombokula tubina ko patali. All the projects are lined up for 2024 and akaitu chili tulechita implement because indala matashifika panshite yalinga. Meanwhile kuchintu gwinja abantu beshibyo kutila bakangombe balipoka CDF. Bakabusukuru balipoka CDF, bazichone bameya balipoka CDF. The whole essence is that sometimes as we announce these huge amounts, let's also ask ourselves, twilai abantu bakwate expectation ili sana pamulu when the funding by central government has not been made available in good time. Lastly, the issue to do with the loans ya CDF. Abantu nga bapoka lulolo pia, ba shams. Bapoka ma 200,000. Uwafia tukwete Zambia yonse. Zambia yonse tabalewesha, and I'll tell you why people are not paying back. The reason people are not paying back those loans, number 1, loan fear eko mutangishe politician. Loan fear abantu beshibi ati loan ifumine kubuteko. Na ba MP eba tanteme kuntanshe balelando kutila muipela ayo maloni paka mtwisa le parliament inkese mukupela. Ba Shams, are you telling me people are going to pay back? Because as far as people are concerned, CDF loan mali pilo pali campaign ba umile. Because now I'm a politician uleleta.
What should be the best way of giving these?
So I've defined the problem. The problem is that the involvement of political players affects the recoveries. Okay. And that is why mule na unia dama 40,000 abantu bale poka fe ba yakana. They are ministers shabalo mbulia mashina. Obo abantu ba ilishanya tiyo ba minister bale tiyo ba tulitubweshe ba minister nifutu aba campaign. So the starting point is that can we find a financial institution that can, number 1, be dedicated towards managing loans? Ama grants kupela bali abale tendeko kwa mbobo kwebo. Bana mayo 10 mwaba pela 40,000 na mwisho kutila aba elo bale tendeko kwebo tabachita poli mbi kwebo na capital yali chepa. Those grants we can continue handling them through CDF. But ama loans, let's find a financial institution. Let's utilize akaka bungwa kale itwa Citizens Economic Empowerment Commission, because kalate kaba politician. Director General at CEEC is not a politician. The manager at a financial institution like a bank is not a politician. For as long as if our politician tule tangira kuli umulimo wa CDF kuma loans abantu tabakalipile iche shuko ine I've never handed over any CDF loan because I warned the government. Na liebeleba minister ba Gary Nkombo ilianshita kutila ba minister, it's a good intention kupela abantu lupia pakutila bakwate nshila ya kuchinda mikamo bukwebo bwabo. But for as long as politicians are the ones announcing go and apply, they are the ones saying let me hand over the dummy check, Shams, I can rest assure you the recoveries will continue to be poor and will not be able to help the next lot of our people.
Let's move on a little bit. Do you think government empowerment programs such as Cash for Work, social cash transfer and grants within the outside CDF programs, have they helped to deal with unemployment levels amongst youths and women?
Far from it. Cash for Work Shams cannot resolve unemployment. Cash for Work bali yeshe shepo ba kishita ba MMD bale teke chalo. Bale yitati push. Mwabika bana mayo, mwabeba tifasule nyumu follow, twala mipela cooking oil, twala mipela akalisaka kabunga. That time, that was 2006. These programs were tried, okay? So as we publicize, let's ask ourselves, umuntu wabomba 10 days, ulo mwasa mpela 600 kwacha, okay? Mule mtuala pantanchi, nangu, you are resolving the problem just for a few days. Okay, what people need are sustainable job opportunities. What people need nifira nachitanda pa fiama loan fenga ili structured winu. Abena Zambia bali kwato mute wako iwombela. Abena Zambia bali kwato mupashuru wako tila. Tinte mwende ikala fendelo mbaisha. People want to work hard. Here in Chililabombwe, people want to go to Kasumbalesa to be able to survive on their own. But we need to scale up because now we push up. And I want to respond. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not interrupting you. Just on that, with the issue of the drought that was experienced last season, the 2024-2025 farming season, we had a very serious drought, and of course maybe government thought it is wise to come up with such programs such as
an intervention, yes,
just to cushion on the levels, hunger levels in the communities. Don't you think it is hoping?
Well, I was answering your question. You talked about employment. You talked about minimizing the impact.
You said no.
And my response, and I wanted to give it context, because if you don't give context to the problem, we'll when you give people 600 kwacha for 10 days, round 2, because cash for work yala ndokutila balaba first long follow kunche ndelimbile itwa within the community, whether it's Kitwe, Chililabombwe or Luansha. Balanga babomba ila 600 kwacha shams that's the only money they get. So for a short period of time, they'll buy a bag of millimere, okay? They'll buy maybe a container of cooking oil, epela, okay? Then we have to add another list of another group of people. So even as you talk about the droughts that we had, the rainfall pattern was very bad. People had these challenges. It may look like a good intervention, but the problem is, could we have designed it better? Because when I come on radio, Christopher Kang'ombe will not come and discuss politics. He will tell you this has to be changed, how could it be changed? And that is why I want to give context. The context I'm giving to the issue of cash for work, the context I'm giving to odd programs like social cash transfer, is that there are programs that need to be refined, redesigned, enhanced, and there attempts to say it could be done better. You can't give a group of old women or a group of young people 600 kwacha after 10 days, 60 kwacha, or even slightly more, just for 10 days. No, but what happens if okay? And you know the drought period was long, okay? And there's this general expectation kubantu kutila ishitenda lamasha drought so that we are able to sustain our livelihood. So Shams, to answer your question, it's an intervention that is short, is for a short period of time. It is possible that government, and this is what we've been saying in Parliament, instead of the MP for Sinjembela, okay, Honorable Mubika, who was on the floor in Parliament, and Mubika is not from the opposition, it's from the ruling party. Honorable Mubika complained in Parliament that in a shin MPH it was social cash for work. In Shams, we had another challenge. The same 600 kwacha I'm referring to was also delayed. So for me to come here and comment on this matter, I would say it was a short-term intervention that could be designed better. Okay, how do we design it better? Number one, amalipilo ya pay day ya chinda mako, number one. Number two, we also ensure that when immediately bapusha fyo kubomba, now we wombela 600 kwacha. Chama wafola, not wambo kulolera bakangombe tatu wafola kuno kundeke. These are phone calls across all the 156 constituencies. Ukwabulano kupatulula.
All right. Kuli ba komfwa kanshimka tuchilipa program ile chokoba TV antanship lina ile muntu wani waramshia kwamba injina ba engineer Kang'ombe pamonga wa honorable member of parliament for Kampinsa constituency. This is from Kitwe district, and of course he's here with me in studio just to look at a number of national matters that are affecting you and I. Yes. Now, before, Honorable, we get to the mining issues. Talk to me about a series of mentorship sessions with young people you intend to be having, and share the motivation and vision or mission within, I think, a minute.
Within a minute. So we have a lot of young people, Shams, who've been calling me from the time now I'm Milebu councillor, the time I was leaving CBU, I was president for the Students' Union. So we have students balabale hapa CBU balilanda bakangombe na bena bali pano pa CBU ba milio butungulushi pano na amuli bu councillor kuli ba councillor bale pishati bakangombe niye bu councillor tinatemo kuimina ko particular chabu member of parliament mwali pitamo muri ijani. There are young people from Luapula calling me, therefore kuba mayor wa Kumansa, therefore kuba mayor wa different places. So now I've been giving advice at personal level. You advise this young person, now a campaign batch follow to a campaign, we printed posters, we did these activities. Now, Shams, I realized that I can't continue doing it at personal, individual level because there are too many young people. Na ichicha kutila ba misepela ba ibimbe mo butungulushi. Na chisa. People want to contest elections. There's a young man in Chingola who wants to stand as a mayor. Mulumendo Imano Zulu. Na imapas we kalefu afiabe mayor. So, and he's not the only one. There are people here in Chililabombwe, there's Sydney who wants to stand as a member of parliament. There are different people who want to contest elections. Now the question is, do I continue parliament? Why not find a more organized way of helping them get ready for different leadership roles? Not just Africans of Yachalo. There are these professional bodies, engineers bodies, accountant bodies. Civil society. Kuleba lento bino kulanda ba Shamzat bakangombe initially for nokwimina kwefya MP fya bu mayor ndefo kupanga civil society organization akabungwa kalala ndila kwemisepela akabungwe that will be so we need to find a way, a mentorship session, the way mentorship sessions are done. The first stage that we've been able to do is to register. We publicize nali bilikisho kutila bali abalefwaya ukubafundo
butungulu. Is it not a political party that you're trying to build now?
Well, a political party has to be announced. Okay, a political party must have clear national intentions made clear. Nishita yakupanga echipaninga ikafika tukesa kuno kwine kumulabasa tukesa lando kutila ba Shams tupeni kwa nishita tulondolo le chipani tulefo kupanga. That stage will come if at all it will come. Okay. For now, I'm responding to a call from our young people. The call from our young people is that, is it possible that you could also help us pursue the path you've pursued? You've been councillor twice, mayor once, MP once. Surely there are lessons you can help us acquire.
Thank you so much. Wonderful. Well, now let's get to the issues to do with mining-related issues, starting with Chingola, where we have seen riots as a result of allegedly illegal small-scale miners known as Jerapos, who feel should not be removed from Sensele mine. And having visited the site, and you obviously, I saw you the other day, not figure.
Oh, kanshimula konka.
Yeah, we've actually been following.
Yeah, it's encouraging.
Your journey.
Yeah.
And head from Sensele mine owners, of course, I think you've actually interacted with small-scale miners, government. What do you think is the lasting solution to the problem at the Sensele pits?
Well, I underestimated the problem. Initially, when I was starting off from Kitwe, I was concerned in Parliament when we heard that people are rioting, and it's not the first time. I think we've had a third riot. The last one was a third riot. So when I was starting off from Kitwe, I said, I feel like let me go and establish. I thought it was just one of those small problems that could be managed. But then I realized that we have, number one, a matter that is in court. You are aware, Shams, that the owners, they are individuals that hold the license. For you to do mining, you need a license. So they are license holders for Sensele mine that have gone to court, and they are saying, look, we have rights over this particular piece of land, and we have the right to actually get the wealth out of this particular. So that's problem number one. The matter is in court. The second problem is that we've had two statements. You are aware. The Minister of Mines has been able to guide that, look, let us if we are going to reach that stage of mining, we can't exclude the fact that this matter has got a license holder in this case. The sitting member of parliament, who is the Minister of Commerce, did go into Sensele mine so we have these problems which unfortunately have escalated to the point where young people wake up and they are told, no. So that is what caused that problem, but it's not the first problem. So what would be a solution to such a problem? Well, if it was up to me, Christopher Kang'ombe, I would actually be able to bring the owners of Sensele mine na ikalika na balebele kazi balaba misepela bali kwatawa batungulula tababuka fyo luchero atilero twaya kwa abantu abe bati olero tule kumaini
ama commanders
awobene mwalungula. So there's been a proposal there was a proposal I picked, which I need to confirm, that the owners would want to find some money ukupela bala bamisepela bakwate kwefya kuchita fimbi so that they can do proper mining in a very safe environment. Okay, now my concern as a young person is that ushebali abale tungulula shire misepela ishiri kulya kusenseli bala balumendo bayamukwingira mu bwendo ushenga bapoka bala bantungulu shinga bapoka shire ndalama bapoka ile nga shinga $3 million tule umfanga ni $4 million balino kubapela. What accountability system is in place? Icha kutila nga bapoka bakayakanya mwishire yalondoloka because bashams ifika chitika the day that money will be released by Senseli to find a way of accommodating the young people to be productive in other things, the leaders may actually get that money. So my proposal would be, is it possible that we can actually find a formula that brings these two stakeholders together? Because for as long as we haven't created adequate employment for them, if it was up to government would actually say, all you young people in Chiwempala, can we find you a mining place where you can actually mine at a smaller scale and be able to get wealth out of it in a safe environment? Shams, we can't allow our young people to die. It must be done in a safe environment. So proposal number one would be, can we find land? Can we find an alternative mine where we know that Chalangu, Kusangamo, Ifilondolweke, where there are no encumbrances, where we can either take the young people or whatever never senseli mine to awokutile impika ikakonkanyapo. Is it possible we can find you a new mining license? Is it possible that you as mine owners, you can actually give you a new mining project? So in short, talking to each other would permanently resolve this problem. If we are going to think it's a small issue, Shams, we'll keep coming back to radio saying, if we don't find something for them to do.
All right. Honorable, gold mining is Zambia slowly but surely increasing. Currently, we are at 2.8 tons in terms of reserves at a Bank of Zambia, worth $300 million, and you have been consistently saying that gold mining should be for Zambians only. And what does this mean? What is that thing that government is missing to make sure that we manage gold in our country?
Well, I've consistently stated that countries like Ghana, they used to have Bank of Ghana, reserves. Reserve simply means the value of the gold that you've kept. But in case you have pena, so Ghana used to have 8 tons of gold as at 2023. But Ghana basango kutila, despite having too much gold, the only reserves they have is 8 tons of gold, which was just less than $1 billion worth of gold. What did Ghana do? But Ghana basango kutila, wapabeleli obwafya, abantu nga baimba gold, bamuisaba fumile kufyalo fya pusana, all the gold is going into Europe, all the gold is going mufyalo mumbi. So they undertook what are called key mining reforms in the gold sector. They decided to announce that once all gold mumushili wa Ghana, afidashitisha kuri ba Bank of Ghana. So bali pangaka bunga kaleitwa Ghana Gold Board. Akashitafe yonse gold kala fukumuna yonse katwala na ku Bank of Ghana. That's how come today, 2025, as at July, they had 35 tons of gold, which is worth over $5 billion. But Ghana pa rolupia bakwete chilisa kulibena no Kongola bafule bale kokula Kongola rolupia, because already they've sorted out reserves in their banks, but also they have something they can use. Now ufia pena economy afulungana, they are able to say we have got gold. So where have we missed it as a country? Number one, tatwa iche tekela fuebede, we've not believed in ourselves. We believe that inshita ya mkuba ya kampulo mkubanga ya Afrika kufule kwa wawa isa nolupi olwingi kufialo kumbi. So the first thing we need to do, Shams, and I'll be very quick. Number one, exploration. Ukwimbo kuishiwa pa fikilio mkuba. Exploration, we always rely on foreigners. for many years imyaka feyingi, and I will not even apportion any blame because then therefore tuambia kuyapantage. For many years the Zambian government has not been involved in exploration. Ukwishwa, to what extent do we have the minerals? Okay, problem number one. Problem number two, if we're in Zambia, if we're to shindika bamwiso kuya ku Ministry of Mines, kuya mkupoka ama license. Bamwisa bafika balanda tushe license ni kuisa bapoka. Well, tangire ni wewe, but you know that you can actually do it because foreigners don't come with money. What they come with is the belief that if they get a license, they'll go back to their country. Baye Kongwela po. Okay, I want to give context.
I understand how much you believe in your fellow Zambians.
Yes.
Don't you think the disadvantages outweigh the advantages from the background of emerald mining, which saw a number of licenses, of course, being issued to Zambians, but practically nothing much. For sure.
But I'll be quick. Okay, where we missed
it. To run so that we don't actually take 2 hours.
No. We won't take 2 hours.
Exactly.
The point I want to emphasize is that the people following whatever they will miss it. You asked me an important question. Why haven't we maximized benefits? What can we do correctly? So we need to get exploration right. To what extent? The licenses which you've now touched on. Okay. Let me give an example of Mufumbwe. Okay. Kikonge. The local people in Mufumbwe, if you ask me, how did they discover that gold? Na ama degree to akwata benata bakwata. Abe nefele sali bapele chabu pecha kuishba chapa pali ubwali. So, if the local people are able to do it, I'm asking myself, why can't we now, utilizing ilifundelia mines ilishile, there's a law which has come into effect, which is establishing what is called artisanal mining fund. Ulupiyo lwa kwa fuilisha bali aba kwete chiliye chabu penangula ulio mutima wakushita small scale mining ni fia palago. There's a fund that has been established and that fund has been copied from the Ghana fund because ku Ghana kwa libakale fund. Of course the way our two funds are designed is different and I'll take this to parliament to refine Ghana the way they do it in Ghana. Now, pay a license, the same way you've asked me about the emerald mining. Don't give people a license when you're not supporting them with equipment. Just to detect gold. Kalaka gold detector. Shams, it is foreigners who are those equipments. Abena Tanzania wale ise Mufumbwe, aba kwa Angola, Congo, they are the ones who are the gadget. Uloka ku Tanzania ngamilanga apali umukuba apali gold. Muamwimbila abula mo elo ampela kwa kanono. So the problem with giving people licenses without supporting them financially is that they'll end up selling a license. And that is why for me, we can't just give people licenses. Let's also provide them with equipment. Equipment. Provide the funding because the law is saying artisanal mining fund has been established.
Okay. And how can we ensure fairness as well as competitiveness around gold components in terms of pricing, benefiting, so that it benefits Zambians in the long run?
Well, I had this conversation yesterday with George Mutonga from America, the issue of pricing. You are aware, Shams, that there is a company called the Zambia Gold Company.
Yes.
The Zambia Gold Company is what you call an aggregator. Aggregator kuleta pamo. Small scale miner kumpika kuli gold. Kumungwa kuli gold. Okay? If you go into different parts of Zambia, there's gold. So there's a company that was established, I think 2017, 2018, called the Zambia Gold Company. The company Sungu, it's ZCCM and Ministry of Mines that own that company. When the company was established, their mandate is only one. Small scale miner ngabaimba gold, Zambia Gold Company. The price is indicative of what is reflecting in the market. So tekutira fe umutengo na opona. Tekutira fe twala lila abantu amasuku pa mutwengo obuteko. Government has established a company called the Zambia Gold Company, which now will be able to see which price can we look at so that we are able to give value to the artisanal miners. So you give them a license, you give them the money to buy equipment, and you then tell them the ready market is here. You don't have to sell at a giveaway price to someone from another country. Sell your gold to Zambia Gold Company. The price will be indicative of what's reflecting in the market. So tapali ukulila abantu amasuku pamutwe. There's already a company. Then ba Zambia Gold Company batwala ku Bank of Zambia. Efo bola ile take.
Okay. All right. Honorable Engineer Kang'ombe, let's now get to our dear listener out there so that we pick up one. We are actually heading to a short break. At 12, we'll be having headlines.
Okay.
But before we do that, our design is to make sure that we get feedback of what we've so far, addressed.
But now, we'll get
to that.
Please, 1 minute will be enough.
You are itching on just to talk about that particular issue. 0750999965 is the number that you can call us on, so that makwata ngana mkwato kuipusho obu mngakwato kuipisha wa honorable obu ndina be na uma studio kutumwakwato kutuma pe namba yoine. Hello Konkola Radio. Hello Konkola Radio. Everyone is welcome. Mkwa yama shinano kwa bale tumina. Mkwa bashikalo.
Inenfyo wa mtende bashikaro.
Vashkaro, your time is running. We are about to cut you, sir. All right, thank you so much.
Point here, what's
What's
that the constitution state?
0750999965 is the number that you can call us on. Remember, within 35 seconds, so that you exhaust your question, because we are running out of time. Hello, Konkola Radio. Hello, Konkola Radio. Okay, make sure ngamwatu mwakwata kulanda wangu so that tokata kutukana ka time, because that's quite staying. Hello Konkola Radio. Hello Konkola Radio. Everyone is welcome. Nibana nibale tumina pisa. Nibana ni?
Chairman Pachiwe Mpala.
Over chairman Pachiwe Mpala. Mkwa muli ku market. Okay, mkwa.
Quiet.
Okay, tuacha. Thank you. All right, 0750999965 is the number that you can call us on at 12 hours. We shall be going for the news headlines. Before we get to that, we can obviously pick up two calls. 0750999965. Hello, Konkola Radio.
Mkwai ndi wa mtende na tumitandalila ku Chililabombwe. Mkwai.
All right. Okay, so Honorable, we're not going to go for a break. Okay. We are going to continue.
Okay.
I think we are not going to get distracted so that we exhaust some of the
I'll
matters.
I'll be more than grateful.
Now let's get back to the business.
Yeah.
We've gotten those. I think there's only 2 questions.
Yeah.
The other one was just.
Can I respond to them?
Yes, I think you can just react.
And I'll be very quick due to limited time.
Exactly.
But Shikaro was asking about the constitution.
Okay.
Lana askeli bishobe pushe limita chapele information yo balefwa. Constitution of Zambia nangulo olupapulo olukalamba lwakwata ama sections ama articles are dealing na kateka wachalo from article 100 inshila tusalilamo kateka article 102 amaka yakwa kateka article 102 ushekateka ngachite 15 chitika. So constitution tailanda pali former president. Constitution of Zambia ilanda vepali kateka uleteka nshila ya kumusalilamo nshila engabombelamo na maka akwete. So it only deals with the sitting president, but there's a law called Benefits of a Former President's Act. Idolifunde nombeli nonoko nombeli olekesha pali kateka ngati afwe finch fichitika. Okay, elo idwefunde ngamwali lolesha ba shams, and for the benefit of Ashkaro yalanda pama benefits ayali 12. Kateka nga former president kumukulile nganda, former president afuda kwata ba secretary, former president tufure mlolekesha hapo kufya bumi, former president tufure to making sure that ngafa kwa ba state funeral. Okay, funde yalanda. Now problem yalanda limoli nefundi okutila former president ngawekera kufika nsafya cyane yalama 12 benefits nishibafunya hapo. So epabereri obu impika tukwete. That's why I topic yale fwa mwanji tafe na sa ilondolo. So advanced Bashikaro.
Exactly.
Ba chairman kuchiwe mpala balando kutila nili lali ubuteko bwala tubutukila ba misepela bali sato ba ama shops. So where is the disaster management unit? Because disaster ngayachi tiko busanso weta upekenye kufule kwa bako umo wala bomfia ko luse no wala bomfia luse ni nani buteko. So my hope is that the district leadership in Chingola bala butukila kwa bale abaninso aba ewa mashops yao na ike ba chairman chwe mpala na bepsha pali $3 million ile umfuika kutila pshiba senseli bali no kufunya kwa 3 million ba chwe mpala chairman mfule mwasaka manangata mwishi loka poka 3 million because mukasangati bamo bali aloliolo pia ba misepela balelo lela they again go back to the same mine. Meanwhile money was released, so we will not be able to resolve the problem. Lastly, banabanda duplication of an ID. Uyu ID ni 3755, uyu ni 3718. But kwa bempika ya kutila ninshi mule bomfesha ID moine. This is something that should be resolved by the NIMA office. In Kitwe, we have a NIMA office at Kitwe Central Hospital. Shishwe mno Chililabombwe, ukubelele office yaba NIMA. But this is something that could be resolved administratively. Not kindly find an office for NIMA so that NIMA can quickly resolve this problem.
All right, now let me take you to the contracts that you really wanted to talk about. But I've seen you talk about this issue, especially to the fact that I remember vividly what you described as we are talking about reviving the mining sector, especially here on the Copper Belt.
Exactly.
And according to you, said it has no impact so far so good. The issue of the so-called revived mining has not trickled down to the marketeer out there. That's according to you. Where do you think we see it?
So we have two challenges. Most mining companies, Teva KCM Febeka, Nakulwansha wafya na ile sanga mailo when I visited Luansha. I think that even other mining companies are doing it. Instead of womfi work maniale bomba ku KCM. ba KCM n'abakanya fafina ama department yaba because nalibombapo mu mugodini. When I left CBU na ile kumupani na kulwanisha copper mines. Instead of concentrator kale chale bat concentrator bale running ani ba KCM. Ero nganiwe supplier kuya coating enjito ba KCM. Ero ba KCM bakwe bachawe twala kupele nso da mtatu akupele. Now what has happened is that kulikwe issue ile umfika mu advert ba KCM bale running ile itwati outsourcing of departments, meaning concentrator mwapela fya company kamo. So now that is affecting the volume of business nga ile pero ma order liteni mu KCM kuri ba subcontractor part na bena ni ba business man na bena ba ya mu ODFP. So no bale mishira ko fyo to no, it's a common problem in different mining companies. So problem number 1, the outsourcing of key mining operations is affecting the volume of business. Bali aba kwetikai kwa benkaka muno mchalo kwa bali aba ibikirishapo nga bashamza bakutila ngalanda abantu batina wangu shams bamwe bati mpeni kwa kati twakanon. But others may not have the same leverage. So problem number 1, the reduced volume of business for our local contractors. Ichabubili, most local contractors sham, whether it's Kitwe, KCM, Chililabombwe, Mwaya ku First Quantum, when you are given a purchase order, ili ngili netu ya femu kukongole ndalamu. So kuliyo kongwele ndalama kukulika loba uleo kwebele ati ishimpia na kupela pantu na wakwata order ukabweshe pali inshta because wishibi ati ba mind baka kulipila. People have lost houses kukitu abantu bali wapoka mayanda simply because the mines don't pay on time. So I went to parliament as Christopher Kang'ombe to propose a law ifundeli lelando kutila kuliyo kongwele ndalama since kuli interest no kuna kwena kuba migodi nga bachelwa kulipila 30 days yapita tabakulipila interest ifule yafyalwa pafule papoka pamulu pakutila fyakansana lidio kulechelwa kulipilwa contract wa nkongole na ba mine balechelwa kulipila. There must be interest on both ends. So in short, I'm hoping that ilifunde ntwele ku parliament bakali supporta takwakabyo kulolesho kutila bushibaka ngombe chipani chibafumineko. Let us focus on ideas, let us focus on ifintu ifyala kule chalo. For me, it is possible that our suppliers and contractors can actually be paid on time. If they are not paid on time, interest should accrue so that they cover those expenses.
Well,
so efunde tutwele ku parliament.
Okay, interesting. In the remaining 20 minutes, let's tackle other issues. Now, I want to go to the issue of, let's talk about the economy under the leadership of United Party for National Development, UPND. Under the Republican president, Hakainde Hichilema. How would you rate them out of 10? In the 4 years of reign so far, of course, I think today marks exactly 4 years.
Yeah, quite 4 years.
When the UPND government was ushered into government.
I would rate them below average.
What do you mean?
Below average, so 10.
So 10?
Average in 5. So balipa 4 paria.
4.
Balipa 4.
Okay.
And the reason they are at 4 is that I'll start with what drives the economy. So what drives the economy is obviously issues to do with how do you deal with the energy sector, okay? How do you deal with the agriculture sector? You remember Shams that in 2021 colleagues took over government.
Yes.
They decided to scrap off what is called FISIP, Fertilizer Input Support Program. There was a decision based on advice from IMF kutila if FISIP filo na olupia. Okay, file kenife abantu abachengela mu bulimi abene they'll find a way, they'll go and borrow money. We pleaded with government to say don't scrap off FISIP, okay? Unfortunately, because at that time Zambia had enough maize. Now because they had enough maize, it was easy for them to say let us also start exporting maize. Let's issue export maize. So we had a problem, you remember, in 2022, which was the following year. Much of our maize was exported into Congo, Tanzania, different countries. We had a food disaster. We had a food security disaster. Because we pleaded with them, because tuali komaila mwikonkele shabaye mwifabale miebati mwipela ba shibuli mimbuto na fertilizer na fimbi. Government listened. So we had a cycle of 2 years where people struggled just to find food. The price of maize went up. So people are yet to recover from that issue. But I know that for this particular farming season, we've seen that the number or the quantity of maize has improved this year. Okay? We have produced 3.6
million. Does it mean that these are good policies being implemented by government?
So 3.6 million, which has been produced this year.
Yes.
It's the same tonnage that was produced in 2021 by the previous government.
Exactly.
Okay? So bali mfwefo twabebele because twalipitamu muri inshila. Na benefi bapitamu basambirira na chitekubiri mu okushitisha amataba. Okay? And you know 2 weeks ago before parliament closed, I raised an issue in parliament. FRA abashita amataba n'abalanda n'abasayinishanye n'abakongo okutila 1 million tons of maize will go. Ero na ipushe mu parliament ba minister bachipoka ba papa because na benata baishibe. So on the issue of food security, I'm happy that nomba bambo kumfwa na turepela advice. We don't mean any harm. If ocha turefa chakutila ngaba lufyanya banensu bamfa. So they erred when they decided to export all the maize. Okay, that's so issue ya food security. I hope that we can now have something stable. Problem number issue number 2, the issue of energy. Okay, for people to run different sectors, you need electricity. Okay, you need electricity. Now, the issue to do with the crisis in the energy sector, people still don't have electricity. Okay, and I'm sure it has been attributed to the issue of drought. But we still have, we still have contracts where government is exporting power into Namibia, into, I think, South Africa. Again, it was Christopher Kang'ombe who raised that issue. To say, Minister Bakapala, why are we exporting 600 megawatts of power when you know very well that the local people need this power to sustain their businesses? To be on air, you need power. To run a barber shop, you need power. These are conversations about our people. They are not conversations about politics. Yeah. It's about bushechinga mwachi tachile yafu abantu na tachile yafu abantu. Wa minister wangu babula phone. Vaipusha uri wapuzesku mama light nshimule shitisha wangu basuka baya ponya au kuna mibia kule yaya kuli chichalo kule yaya. That was a mistake. How do you continue exporting power when your generation has reduced? So that's why that na bapela ko 4 limibala isho kubombesha kwa kutila tubatwale pa 5. So there are fundamentals that I think our colleagues were learning, they are trying to learn. So limonga mule ngamwa sendo butungulushi ipusheni kona abalipo kuliko efisima bachitile. That is how we will build this country.
All right, what is your submission to the authority that be if we are to improve our economy with or without droughts and with or without challenges, of course considering all sectors of our economy?
So I'll be very short. Energy sector, I took a proposal to parliament to say abama mine ya Kalamba, FQM, KCM, Mopani tabalingire okulalolela ZESCO kubapela amalight. That was my proposal. Again, I'm on record. Dichiwama parliament inoshitanga walanda fila shala. So kubale kutika inena alitwala proposal ya parliament kutila ayama mine ya Kalamba. Instead of ukulalolela ba ZESCO bale bapela amalight, yala amalight ya ZESCO lekeni yafwe kwa abantu. Ama industries yachiteko sa support tutuma industries ngwa wataka barber shop ulapanga ko tuma bloko. Those are people ZESCO should look after. The mines should produce half of their electricity. That was my proposal. ZESCO should only give the mines 50% of their power. Okay? If you go to Dangote Cement Kundola, wa Dangote bala ipangila malite. Benata barolela ZESCO bala amkushita coal, you buy coal from Mamba, you bring it into Ndola, the engines are run by coal, you produce electricity. Mopani, KCM, these big mines can do it. So that yalama laiti hali mu national grid, ya afuako feba kutila techi tukwanishe. Proposal number 1. Proposal number 2. Instead of us complaining about tukuchepelwa kwa ndalama sha national budget, can we ensure that I am a key mining resource? If you feel it was gold, if you koma ilapo, apapera to ala pesha ya pali gold, because ni ngufa kufialo kumbia for gold dichitile. And that is why when I support the proposal that we take reforms in the mining sector, I'm looking at key minerals. Mapatizia has got lithium. Shams, for you to run a solar system, you need a lithium battery. Exactly. Kalaka battery yakale itwa lithium battery. Tatulingi doku lashitama lithium battery kufialo fiakunse. Lithium battery kitwaya panga factory kumapatizia ku Southern Province. The idea that people in Southern Province should only do farming, vaishwafio okulima mataba, vaishwafio kukusha cattle rearing so that they support the beef industry. That is the old theory, okay? People in Southern Province have got money. If we taught them, Eshenkona mining will give you the technical people to run this mine because you have the money. People in Southern Province can run mining. So, issue number 2. can we maximize revenue from the mining sector? Tuishinshikila kumigodi. Pantu ngature if you think that diversification by shams, it will never happen. Something must anchor diversification. And for me, you can't tell people go and do agriculture when there's no funding to support irrigation. And that is why for me, I hope that the Minister of Agriculture, Parliament, they should be able to say, but here I think this is a policy proposal. Let's see how we can implement it.
And let us shift our focus now to the political environment under the United Party for National Development government. Since their election into office in 2021, how would you describe it, political-wise?
Kwena chachipeka nyokusamukula ndapafikanisa vyachalo. Ififile kuma ushavale umana naba kampandala ndilefi. But what I do know, I'll give a very general statement. We decided as a country. Muna 1991 okutila tukala pele shuko abantu kusale ntungulushi. Okay, ba Shams ngabale foku imina ba Kang'ombe ngabale foku imina ba Sijili Musonda ngabale foku imina ba Chao Zulu ngabale foku imina ba Emmanuel Zulu ngabale foku imina. They should be allowed to form political parties and compete. Okay, we decided 1991 abakala sala ntungulushi bantu. Okay, we did away with the one party system. Okay, for the last couple of years, I think 30 years, almost 33, we've been doing democracy as a way of governing our country. So last 4 years, okay, in terms of specific examples, you are aware that there are problems within the main opposition political party. And when I say main, I'm talking about political party kwete pama MP abengi mu parliament. Echi to a main opposition. Okay, so the main opposition is the Patriotic Front. Okay, as I sit here, there are about 5 cases in court. Ayale kumechilonga ino cha PF. Okay, kuliko mulumendo uli member of parliament wa ile quarter convention pamulungushi mu 2023. Okay, convention by Shams, and I'm answering your question. I want to be very quick.
Your faction president.
So convention eko tusali le ntungulushi ba UPND bala kwata convention ba socialist party bala kwata convention. So mulumendo mwali ya kwata convention pamulungushi. Okay, convention efo yaba all MPs should vote bafune basenda molubali. All district officials should vote mukusala intungulushi shachilonga nyo chili chonse. So now ila convention kwafulile bakapokola ukuchila abantu. Okay, bakapokole bafulile no matu apapa kushayaba ema delegates. Okay, so a matter is in court to challenge that activity. Okay, now when an activity goes into the judiciary, the judiciary should believe that time is important in determining justice. Okay, ketu mulandu uli fekli ana wanguka 3 years yala kwana tuchiri mukoti. Mula mukoti mwafume mpikana shimbi inani ya wikele parone Christopher Kang'ombe na mu parliament bali ntamfishi pakuipusha pali fine file kuma democracy ya chalo in how we allow political institutions to function. So you've asked me, how do I assess? My appeal to our colleagues in the UPND, it is your policies that will speak for you. It is the programs that will transform Zambia that will speak for you. Don't get involved in the affairs of a political party that is competing with you. PF is just one political party. PF leronangwe ifwe wa Shams. There will be young people, elderly people that will still come on radio and say, mukwaina tupange chilongani no chimbi, to come and challenge the ruling party on ideas. So for me, I think that the current government should have focused on if it wachlalanda. If you feel kumabantu, if you are politics, I think that has affected the credentials of UPND. UPND would have left a legacy that they allowed fair competition. Kupuishanya my ideas so that ichalo chesu cha advantage. All
right, we are remaining with a few minutes before we wrap up our conversation with Engineer Kang'ombe in studio. Now, talk to me about the fight against corruption under the UPND government, with the arresting and jailing of former government ministers and officials. What is your take? We've seen a number of ministers, former ministers, of course. Honorable Chito Tela, former Minister of Transport and Logistics, of course. At the same time, he served as Tourism Minister. A former Luapula Province Minister, Nixon Chilabwa, together with the former mayor for Kawambwa, district. We've seen the incarcerated. They bent they bent a Mahindra. In 2021. That's the case they've been actually cited. Yeah.
So you see, if it wachilanda corruption I'll answer because that was your initial comment. But the case you've cited has nothing to do with corruption. But I will still comment quickly. There are 3 things we need to do to enhance the fight against corruption.
Okay.
Number 1, the people that have to investigate. The first thing we need to do, and again, this is what we've been saying in Parliament, the funding that goes to SCC, they must be well remunerated. Okay, because that is a key institution. That is proposal number 1. Proposal number 2, we need to also find a way of ensuring that office ya SCC ku Chililabombwe, the environment the equipment they have, the computers, thirdly, we must ensure that these institutions do not have any political interference. Pakutila corruption twilanda fe paba Africans afyachalo. Corruption ofo yaba na mu private sector mo yaba. Iyo muntu ale pepe kaka chito kumaini. Namunganda mo yaba. Yeah, so you end up having people focusing on meanwhile we have so many examples of where our officers can actually pursue corruption. So we must have a turnaround kuli corruption. Case mwachilombula yaba chitotela na Nixon na appeal value, I think the appeal was thrown out. Mahindra. Okay, I can give an opinion, but of course there's a court judgment. Okay, I can give an opinion. If you've read the judgment, the judgment talks about okay. So those in the legal profession, if you called them here to come and break down the ruling of the court, they'll then challenge this argument. They'll pick my argument. My argument is that evidence here to elwe court very convincing, but the court very penguin. Okay, so fight against corruption. You are aware, Shams, that there are 4 ministers, current sitting ministers.
Yeah, exactly. We don't still know.
Abali under investigations ku SCC. Tababarumbula machina. So fight against corruption. Taifuli yapatulula. Kuba kale nabaleteka chifure chabafe umulinganyo ofule wafe omowini. We must wait. Amafisa kano yakale naya inonchita kufule kwa wafe okufisenda fimofine. So ababutekwa baleteka inonchita tabalo ndorola. Ma minister nshabo bene ebo ba SCC balifailikisha. That would also help to raise the confidence. Abantu bakwate subilo ne chitekelo chakutila muchine chakwalesa. Mulinshile isume yakufailikisha mo amafisa kano.
Right, Honorable, as we conclude our conversation, let us now talk about your political ambitions. I hear your gods are telling you to contest for president next year. Your gods, of course. If you were to listen to that call from your gods, on which ticket would you stand on?
Well, before I answer the ticket, I'll be quick again.
Okay.
Leadership, how it is. You have to start somewhere. Watende ko mulimo watila na kulaya ndesambilila. Wapusha bukansela 10 years wabomba. Watila okwena pana bomba ko na sambilila kwe fintu fingi. Wasela waya pachifulo cha bumea. Pali bumea wasambilila kwa abantu balekwe ba obutungulu shibachitefi, you move to the next level, which is member of parliament. Member of parliament obunde bomba pali inonshita. So I'm asking myself, ushe ule teke chalo na ngula akateka wa chalo. It is not possible for the sitting president to be there forever. Abale teke chaloba akainde ichilema. Umobushkuna benishita yawe ya kuteke chalo ikapwa. So I'm asking myself, ushepabu abantu ba Mzambia benga tonton kanyapo. Filabeta buchisungu at consideration. Okay. Can I also offer myself so that Zambians can also put me as an option? Takwa bechalo na ngule chifulo cha kulanga president itachukwe ama options. Zambians must be given options. Zero abantu bashetulu kamo. Balanda uyu bushoya alikwempa pwechani. uyu taishiva nefo bafwasululo omufolo ngoyu bushuyu ifya economy ngatwa mpela 30 minutes alondolole pa Konkola Radio ifya economy akula sabaire nangu mfyo alela ndana afipalako. So in short, I'm offering myself for consideration because at some point the sitting president will not be there. Okay. Zambia must be given options. Kanabesa mufune mwalandati ngaine shamuzi finshi ngachitira ko echalo pali bukansela nang pali bumeya ero abantu abene eba shetulukamo. Okay. We can't leave the office of president ukwabula ama options ayalondolweki. I think that I've acquired the necessary experience.
All right. If they asked you
chipanish kai first chipanish yesu na chikwata mafia so turefire mafia yapwe wangu.
Okay.
That's why na asukili okutila between now and December I'll have to decide ushende imina kukateka nangu shile iminina. Okay. Between now and December fyonse fifya kutile chipani fyonse fili muri consultation. Turayipusha abanenzu turayipusha ko bali abapitamo if you call way those old politicians batu ebatawe chiteni if awe fimu ichita. And I'm sure by December Shams, please allow me to come back to Konkola Radio nkese londura romba ifetwala chitamu mwaka wa 2026.
Okay. All right, finally, if they ask, I mean, if given a chance or asked you to take over from where Edgar Lungu, the former 6th Republican president, left, and whoever is there as the leader in PF, would you agree to take over?
We know Latina bombe mulimo waboka teka wa chipani.
Okay. We know. And how ready do you think Zambia is for a youthful president like you?
So I'm a youthful president. The term youthful should not just be looked at in the context of Imiak. They should also look at Bushe Uyu. Nasambili kutungulushi. Okay, because bengi bakalaka bile chichifulo. Okay. Now abantu bafuli bashetuluka mo profa we kalalanda bushoyu kitya bomba na abantu bushoya ali bomba pwefi. So for me it's not just an element of youthfulness. Okay, what Christopher Kang'ombe, when I said I know when abantu bandole keshepo kuntungulu shishleisa kunta nshipachfulo chabuka teka, I'm also saying bushe mumiri moshandi have I acquired the necessary experience, the skills kwishefya kubomba na abantu ero kutungulu shimo mano ya chifyali efo le kutikisha kubantu abantu ngabale kwebati Kang'ombe mwirala twalite mwata mulanda pa abantu nga mwa kumulabasa nishwaishi bati iche ebutungulu shabantu balefwa. So in short, Zambia is ready for a youthful president who kwete kona understanding ya butungulu.
Okay.
Emkwa.
Honorable Kang'ombe, I really thank you that you came through Konkola Radio. But now within a minute, I wanted you to just give us an ending point where in the remaining months of those elected by Zambians as councillors, council chairpersons, mayors, members of parliament and president, what is it that they need to do to finish strong and be considered for re-election or other positions in the coming 2026 general election? Just in a minute.
Under a minute, but at the same time, it's enough for you to ensure that you leave a strong foundation. If you are a councillor, if you winga area, section, if you want to shoot just attend to them. Abantu bala muna intungulu shishilela ndokwibila abantu amano kwa bashile intungulu shakutila because shile fokusarwa shamba certainly ligia shachinja bomba fefya kutila fyala sekesha abantu. People know who genuine leaders are. Development ya kupumikisha ile ya kulekelesha twali mwene pokunu moko eko mwasasanga fimi sebo shonse bambo ku grade okubale paula batapali musebo walapwa filanish mwanshi batawa ba sensela liya kachitashani liya kawa. Just be a genuine leader. Tanda lileni abantu mube na abantu mwila salika pantu mailo kujukusala. Okay, tamupoka no mukate na mumwa yata ntamanish muleta ntaminata mpoko mukate. Just work with people who see genuine leaders. Lesale mipala wa Chililabombwe.
Thanks for your time, Engineer Kang'ombe Christopher, once more. And that was the Kampinsa Member of Parliament, Engineer Christopher Kang'ombe, featuring on Uwe Internship.